It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another post.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello, it is that time of the week again. These weeks tick over so quickly and it's time for another edition of the Sprint Lane podcast for Harness Racing New South Wales. It's a Sunday, so that means it's time for the Sunday session. My name is Greg Hayes and it is great to have your company today, and I thank you for downloading the episode. Well, Cam Hart, another big night out at Menangle. This time last week I was talking about him joining Todd and Luke McCarthy as the winners of 6 races on a Metro card at Menangle. Well, he backs that up with another big performance again. 8 races, 8 drives, 3 winners, both carousels, the Pacers and the Trotters, 3 seconds, a third and a fourth. He's driven over 200 winners the last 3 years. He's on target to do it again with 155 winners so far in 2025. And he still has more than 3 months to go in the year. You throw the Eureka into the mix a fortnight ago, the world's richest harness race, and you have a very profitable year for the popular reinsman. Cam was in a real battle to win the Drivers' Premiership a month ago, and he looked to be in a tough fight 12 months ago with his good mate Will Rickson before he put his foot down on the accelerator and proved too good in the run to the end of December. Well, fast forward to now, and the same thing's happened. He's hit a purple patch of form, and all of a sudden, he's nearly 10 wins in front of his nearest rival, Robbie Morris. I don't know if you caught up with the interview I conducted with Cam after he won the Eureka. It was put up on the socials of Harness Racing New South Wales, and I spoke to him about the decision to move to Sydney as a 17-year-old to work for Shane Sanderson. Now, the way this all came about, I was out on the track after the Eureka, and I was talking with Cam's mum and dad. Cam's sister Ash was there as well, obviously, and she's going through her treatment at the moment, and I was having a chat to the parents about Ash and also Cam. And his mum and dad were telling me about that big decision that he made as a 17-year-old, had no job offer apart from the fact Shane Sanderson said, come and work for us and we'll give you all the drives we can. So Sando had a barn at Menangle back at the time. He was trying to establish himself, Shane, and it was a really big gamble that Cam took. And Sando said he couldn't afford to pay him a wage, but he'd give Cam all the driving opportunities he could, and what a masterstroke that was. Cam said in the interview a couple of weeks ago, he slaughtered a few for Sando back in the day because he was still learning his craft, and he has a special spot for the entire Sanderson family as they became his family after he made the move to the big smoke. I want to speak with Cam more about that decision. We only really just brushed over it in that interview, and I'll do that a little bit later on in the podcast when he joins me to have a chat about his night at Menangle. Overseas, we saw the running of one of the important races for stallions that more than often than not end up in this part of the world. The Little Brown Jug was run during the week, and this time it was Blueprint for trainer Ron Burke and Ronnie Wren Jr. in 150.1 or 1/5, so 0.2 really. I guess the biggest interest for Aussie breeders is that the horse had a scrotal hernia a few months ago, and it nearly ended the career of Blueprint, let alone any dreams of a trip to the breeding barn. The colt faced emergency surgery, lost a testicle, but fought his way back, competing at the top level to win the big event. Mark Weaver, one of his owners, said they talked to many reproductive specialists, and every one of them has expressed that it shouldn't have an impact on his future as a stallion. Many other horses, standardbreds and thoroughbreds, have had long, successful careers with just one testicle, servicing full books into their mid-20s. Now, the principal owner is Phil Kalura. He had this to say after the victory in the Little Brown Jug. I never thought we could have as good of a horse as he is because we had Sweet Lou. But I think he's better than Sweet Lou at 3. That's a big statement. But now I know he's better. It is so cool to have a son of Sweet Lou be this good. We've had a lot of horses, but not like this. He's special, and not just because of the kind of horse he is, but what he overcame. Ronnie Wren Jr. said after the win, I think he's going to be a great sire. The way he's racing, he's going to have some great offspring, and I knew when I qualified him last month after the second qualifier, I knew he was back. He might still have some scar tissue, but it doesn't seem to slow him down. For all the Down Under fans, Dexter Dunn finished second in the Little Brown Jug final after sitting behind the leader, but was no match for Blueprint up the straight. Over the next couple of months, I'll try and reach out to some of the Aussies and Kiwis over there in Australia. I've reached out to Toddy a couple of times, haven't got anything back, but I'll see if I can catch up with Dexter and Todd and Andy. They all compete in the biggest races now overseas, and I'm sure they'd be happy to drop in and have a chat at some stage. Some really sad news, and it was remiss of me not to mention it on the podcast last week, the passing of Greg Brown. Now, Greg was a popular member of the Newcastle harness racing community, did plenty of work on the Newcastle track over the years. His passing came as a huge shock to those in the industry. I know Brad Elder wore Greg's colours Friday week ago in a race after Greg's sudden passing, and Brad has also set up a GoFundMe page for Greg's family who have been left behind. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them for sure. Still about a month away from the Breeders' Challenge Finals at Menangle. The meeting's due to be run on October 25, and we are just starting to see some of the well-bred locals starting to hit the tracks at heats all around the state. What about Hollywood Strip? Coming out and smashing his rivals off the park in 150 for a 2-year-old on Monday at Menangle. He's another sweet Lou. He's out of the big mare, or out of the mare Big Bang Molly. Now, Big Bang Molly, she only had 2 starts in her career. She was then retired. She's out of Machine Gun Molly, a mare that won 13 races of 38. Hollywood Strip's a full brother to Small Tees, who had a handy career, and also Kabang, who won numerous races. But it looks like Mick Boots has found another good one, that's for sure. Brad Hewitt's father, David, trained Sparkling Sea to win the 2-year-old fillies heat on Monday. Sam Hewitt, another one of David's sons, stole the spotlight at Bathurst on Wednesday when he trained Where's Wally and Ark Sea to victory in the heats, while Father David got another heat winner this time around with Message Bank. So it was the Hewitts all over the state in the first part of the week. Newcastle on Friday, Rockin' Miss Regina for Mick and Chloe Formosa combining in the fillies, while Midnight held on narrowly and then had to survive a protest in the 2-year-old boys heat. So the racing has been very competitive so far. Who's on the podcast this week? I've mentioned already, Cam's going to join me. I want to have a chat to Mick Stanley as well. I've had him on the podcast a couple of times since he's made the move to Sydney, and he continues to keep kicking goals. So after another double in town, I thought it would be good to speak with Mick. And Sam Hewitt is going to join me for a chat. He trained that double at Bathurst on Wednesday, as I mentioned. He also brought up 100 career training wins when he picked up that double. So it's a nice milestone, and I think that should be recognised as well. Mr. T will be back with some tips. Nothing to report last week from either of us. I gave 2 tips on the podcast. I did my Goulburn preview for the club, which goes out on social media. I tipped 4 horses in that preview. Now, obviously, I used 2 that I tipped in the show, and I picked another 2. Now, if I tell you 2 won, it was obviously the 2 that I didn't tip on this podcast last week. Tough start to the tipping challenge for spring, but Mr. T will be back with a couple of tips again at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. There's a lot to get through, so first up, let's hear from Cam Hart.
28-2 the quarter as they're about to run for the money in the carousel, and the leader is Our Sweet Delight. Now getting going is Alta William, trying to make some ground on the inside is Classic Elegance. It was eventually able to work one off, but the 3-year-old sprinted sharply. Red Sapphire's out of the pack. It's Our Sweet Delight, 100 metres left to go. Red Sapphire's running home resolutely, but Our Sweet Delight is going to do it for Grimson, and Our Sweet Delight beats in second spot Red Sapphire, and third will be Classic Elegance.
Another 3 winners on a Saturday night. By comparisons to last week, pretty average, but most drivers going around would love to be driving Metro trebles on a Saturday night, including 2 Carousel Finals. I didn't annoy Cam after his 6 winners last week, an amazing feat, because I thought he would go pretty close in the Carousel Paces final and would get him this week, and as luck would have it, he did. So Cam is joining me. Congratulations on the win in the Carousel Finals, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. It was a great night. Obviously, going into the night, I was quite confident with my 2 drives in those races. But, you just never know how it's going to shake out. But, really happy with their efforts. And, big thrill to win both.
Before we get into Saturday night, this driving momentum you've got at the moment, you could win on a broomstick. What's the secret? You must feel full of confidence when you go out onto the track at the moment.
Yeah, definitely driving with plenty of confidence. Secret's probably to try and get on the fastest horses, of course. But, I definitely feel like you're in a little bit of a flow state when everything's going well for you. And, just got to try and ride the wave when it's happening for you, I guess.
As the leading driver in the state, you would get plenty of offers. How do you sit down and work out what horses you're going to drive? Does it come down to a loyalty thing with particular stables, or do you look to drive the best horse you can in every race?
Yeah, probably it mixes a little bit with the process. Every case is a little bit different. Obviously, there's loyalty factors. There's been a lot of great trainers help me out for long periods of time, and then obviously it is my main business, and you need to really be driving the best horses as much as possible. So it's probably the hardest part of the business. I'm obviously very lucky with the support I get in the industry, and hate not being able to drive for everyone sometimes, but it's just part of the game, I guess, and try and manage it the best we can.
Let's talk about that night at Menangle just gone. 3 winners, 3 seconds to go with it. I actually thought one of your best drives on the night was on Classic Mission, and it ran second. But let's talk about the winners. Jason Grimson looks to have found another nice one in Our Sweet Delight. Another Sweet Lou who's racing well at the moment.
Yeah, he's just a lovely animal, Greg. He's got a great attitude. He's a beautiful looking horse, and I like the way he goes about his work. He's got a good turn of foot, and he seems to be quite strong as well. So I think he's a horse that, I think Jace is sort of looking to aim up for a bit bigger races later in the year. So hopefully he can keep progressing well.
You had the choice of any of the heat winners last week, but after hearing an interview with Jason, he seemed to think that the horse has got a pretty big future. So you tend to agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, all 4 of the heat winners last week are all really nice horses in their own right, and I think all 4 will go through the grades, but I just think this guy's just got that little bit more brilliance to maybe really reach the top levels. So it was nice that Jace had that confidence in him, and it made my decision pretty easy then.
Pinched the first half of the last mile, but was forced to earn the top. So with 800 metres to go, did you think he was going to be pretty hard to run down?
Yeah, once I got those couple, pretty cruisy sectionals through the first half, I was pretty confident the whole way that, he was going to swell up on the bit for me and kick when I asked him, and it's exactly what he did. Familiar Tricks for Team Rando won the Trotters Carousel. Once he found the race, or found the front, it looked like that race was all over too. He looked really good up the straight. Yeah, he was great. He's, a horse I've loved from pretty well day dot. He's given me a few headaches driving him. He's a little bit wild and erratic at times, but he's just starting to really turn into a nice racehorse now. He's starting to put it all together. It's a big credit to Mary and Joe and the ownership group to sort of be really patient with this horse, and they're starting to reap the rewards, which is really pleasing for them. The punters who took the shorts would have been a little bit concerned before the race. BK's calling the event, and he says, Familiar Tricks looks a little bit wound up at the start. I've never seen him before. I don't know if he does that. Is that just the horse? You were expecting that maybe he'd be playful in the warm-up and in the lead-up to the race? Yeah, that's just him. He just gets on his toes a little bit in the circle, and he has a little bit of a trot around, and I sort of just try not to fight him and just keep him happy. But he's getting really good. He warms up real nice for me now. He just gets a little bit nervous before the start, but we're getting in a bit of a routine with him, and he seems to be liking it. So at the moment he's getting away and doing everything right, which is great. How far do you think he can go? Yeah, I think he can really reach the highest level. I think on his ability, it's just whether his manners sort of allow him to do that. He's definitely getting better and better each time he goes out. So, it's probably just going to depend on his manners whether he reaches the top, but I definitely think he's got the ability to. Dom Toretto was the other winner, another one for Chris Judd, and he's racing well for Chris. He's done a great job since joining his team. Yeah, he's done a super job. He's just a great Saturday performer. He's very consistent and can be driven, either way, whether you put him in front like he was last night or tuck him in. He's just a lovely racehorse and doing a super job for Chris and the connections on a Saturday. Chris does an amazing job with these horses that he picks up off other stables and other stables that can train. Yeah, he's had a lot of luck with a few nice little Saturday performers, and he got this one off Jace. He was really well performed in the lower grades when he got him, and he's sort of gone on with it and done a really good job for him. So he's doing a super job with his whole team, Chris. Classic Mission. Now, he's knocking on the door. It's only a matter of time before he bounces back into the winners list, surely. Yeah, he's racing so well. He's run some big miles and probably been unlucky not to knock off another one on Saturday. But, he went super, and I'm sure once he gets into that top grade consistently, he's just going to keep turning up and earning checks.
Mate, we haven't spoken since the night you won the Eureka with Bay of Biscay. I interviewed you there and we spoke about the challenge and the decision you faced as a 17-year-old and that decision to make the move lock, stock and barrel to Sydney with the help of the Sanderson family. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I've had a number of people reach out to me who said they were unawares that that is what happened and how you got your start in Sydney. So you made the decision as a 17-year-old to pick everything up and move to Sydney with the help of the Sandersons?
Yeah, that's right, Greg. I was, started my driving career, in the Riverina area where I'm from. And, probably did, I guess, around 12 months of driving down there and had quite a lot of success straight away with great support down there. And, I always wanted to move to the city for more opportunities and just sat down with my sister, Ash, and just had a bit of a discussion about it. She was in Sydney at the time and, went through a few trainers that we thought might be suitable to try and get my driving career, off the ground in Sydney. And, sort of come up with Shane Sanderson, just reached out to him and, that was sort of all she wrote. He got me up here and offered me all the stable drives and, I was very grateful for that. He done a super job sort of kicking my career off up here and, definitely taught me a lot about the Menangle style racing as well. So, can't thank the family enough for that.
And so you remain pretty tight with the Sandersons? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we, we're always going to be close. I think, obviously watching Abby and Ryan in the sport now it makes me very proud. Obviously, they started track work and everything like that for the first time when I was working for them. And, they probably sort of feel like my little brother and sister a little bit. So, and then along with Shane and Naomi, they're just great people and, I think we'll be friends for life.
Mate, you're closing in on 200 winners for the year again, 3/4 of the way there so far and more than 3 months left to go for the season. Is that a goal you set yourself now, 200 winners? And, obviously if you do that this year, you complete it 4 years in a row.
Yeah, it's not really a goal I've ever really chased, but, it's definitely something, I'm very proud of. If you can get 200 in a year, you've had a great year. But, probably the last couple of years I've tried to maybe concentrate on, the bigger races more than the number of wins I'm getting. But, in saying that, it's still a great achievement.
Okay, and off to Victoria for the Cup and big races down there, obviously even with the winner last night. So you've got some big races coming up.
Yeah, can't wait, Greg. Obviously Swayze will be back hopefully in a week or two for a run and he'll head down there and I think he's in a good place. And, I think that colt from last night will probably head down as well. So it's always nice to head down to Melbourne and, having a couple of nice drives like that.
Mate, it'd be remiss of me not to finish up the interview with a question about the song because I watched all the social interviews last night and they asked all the other drivers about it. They played a song last night for you after your 6 winners. What do you think of it? It's a pretty catchy tune.
Yeah, a few people said it's quite catchy, but they played it on the way back in. It's okay. I'm not really one to want to be in the spotlight and things like that. But I know a lot of my older family members that like the old Western music. Thought it was a hit, so no, it's great. And hopefully, a few people can have a bit of a laugh over it.
Well, mate, I'll play a little bit of it as we go out. But congratulations on another big night. Credit yourself, your family, and the industry, mate. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
At Club Menangle's hallowed halls where superstars abound, Robbie Morris, Rickson, Cool Hand, Lukey can be found. But Sydney Harness has the man whose praises we all sing. He drove 6 winners in one night. We've crowned our latest king. He's the king of Club Menangle. He's MacArthur's favorite son. He gets him off the gate quick, smart. That's where his race is won. His blue and yellow racing silk spear over at the start. He loves to lead from goal to woe. His name is Cam Hart.
Monic Shard is going to continue to punch the markers at the quarter pole. Third section was 28-1. And at the head of the others is Zenzina. Belladanza goes for it now. 300 metres left to go. The Answer rolls off the inside and now starts to stake its claims and very quickly swept up alongside Belladanza. The Answers quickly put pay to the event to the early leader. Onyx Shard is trying to get through on the inside, but that's 2 for Michael Stanley and the Answer's going to roar away for a big win.
Mick Stanley is knocking up winning races here in Sydney. Another 2 winners at Menangle on Saturday night and another slick performance by San Paulo Simba. I'd be thinking Mick would be on cloud 9 and looking forward to many more winners, and he's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations on the double, mate. Well done.
Morning, Greg. Thanks very much.
Mate, before we start chatting about the double, what about this second coming in Sydney? I know you had a crack at Menangle going back a while ago, but it's really clicking this time around. I think the 18-19 season was your best as a trainer. You got 55 winners, but you're on target to smash that this season with 51 winners this year. You've only had the 160-odd starters. You must be so happy with how everything's going for you at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Hazy, looked at... probably helped. It was just the right time to make the move and have a crack in New South Wales again. I just felt that, the team of horses that I had was the best I'd had for a number of years. And apart from 2, Rock and Roll Duel and You Betcha Tiger Pie, the rest were basically 3 and 2-year-olds. So, we've been able to pick up a couple since we've been here, like the Answer, who's still only a young mare, and add a few of those to the stock as well. So it was just the right time with the right horses, and we've made an impact, which has been fantastic.
Is it a tough decision to have with your owners to say, look, I think we might pick up and have a go in Sydney? The money's good there, obviously, but is that a tough decision that and a tough conversation you have to have when you're speaking with your owners?
Not really. I think, my main 2 owners in Rob Watson, well, he's sort of my main owner with the majority of the horses that and Brendan James, that they were pushing me to make a move away from Victoria because of the decline in prize money and what have you there. So it was quite easy. They were sort of the ones pushing me to make the move. So I just had to really be the one to make the decision and go with them. So the toughest part, has been sort of moving away from the family, until things get settled. But, we're getting closer to the end of the year and then they'll be up here as well and it'll make things easier. But, as far as that was concerned, it was quite easy. Okay,
so you're away from the family at the moment. They'll join you at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually on the highway as we speak, coming up for a couple of weeks. The girls have got school holidays, so they'll come up for a couple of weeks during the school holidays, and then I've got a team to take back to the Vic Bred, which is only a few weeks away, so I'll get to spend a bit of time with them there. But I've been away. We've been apart since we got here, basically. So but as the year draws to an end, they finish school down south and move up. It'll make things a lot easier.
Mate, let's talk about last night. 4 to the races, 2 winners, 1 placing. Makes it look pretty easy, but there's a lot of really hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Let's have a chat about this incredibly fast Sao Paulo Simba. He proved to everyone that 148.9 was no fluke with another sub-150 last night.
Yeah, I sort of said a while ago that I thought this horse was, my next up-and-coming open class horse, but he's a really big raw horse who still hasn't fully matured. He's a bit gangly and still a bit awkward, but we the start of his preparation, we just drove him a bit conservatively to get his fitness base and teach him a bit of ring craft and what have you. But now we're getting to close to the Victoria Derby heats and that. We sort of had to wind him up, and obviously, 2 starts back when we went 48, we got caught outside the leader and the leader set the pace. It wasn't him. He probably felt a bit sharper in that race, being outside the leader and chasing the leader. Last night, he was a bit more tradesman-like. He sort of was floating around in front, still that bit of goofiness, which I touched on. With his ring craft, but when the cam tipped off my back and got to my wheel, he sort of kicked into gear and held it off nicely and won well again.
He's now won the 6 races. He loves Menangle, and by the sounds of that, the Vic Derby's definitely on the program. Yeah,
that'll be his next start. He's such a strong horse too. I think the 2,700 metre Derby will really suit him. So, he won't start again. I think the heats are on in 3 weeks from now. So those two really hard, solid miles will just ground him off nicely for that.
He won on debut. He runs into hesitated his second start at Melton. And by the sounds of it, it's just taken a little bit of time for the penny to drop. Is there much more development in him, or do you think he's just about there?
No, I think he's got stacks of improvement. He still hasn't filled out properly in his body. He's quite a tall horse, but gangly. I think he's got a lot of maturing to do. He still needs to learn to race as well. Like I said, when he found the front last night when he was on his own, he still was floating a bit. So once he picks up that bit of competitiveness out in front instead of chasing, I think he's got quite a deal of improvement still left in him.
The answer was the second leg of the double. She's had 7 starts since coming to New South Wales. She's won 4 of them. She's so consistent. What's been the key to her improvement?
You know what? This mare's always been a really handy horse. I watched her as a 3-year-old with Danny Curran, the guys that still own her, and I really liked the way she went as a 3-year-old, and I actually just drove her in a driver's invitational at Horsham the last start she had down south, and I said to the guys, would you think about sending her to Sydney? Because I just liked the speed that she showed in that race, even though she ran 4th. Like I say, I'm not too sure. It's been a lot of improvement. I always thought she was a really top horse. She just got up here and she loves the Menangle racing. So, she's a quirky horse. She's sort of one that has a mind of her own and likes to spin around. And like we saw last week, she shied at the timing board and we end up losing the race because of it. But, she's always sort of had a bit of, had some block blinkers on and that to try and curb those things. But last night I took all that off and threw her in an open bridle, and I was either going to be a mug or a genius, and it paid off. But she I think last night was as good as she felt. She was sharp in the open bridle. She just was happy to race away. She was straight. I think we can get a bit more improvement out of her once we iron those little quirks out of her as well. I really love her. I think she can go through to the open grade mares.
Okay, another one. She looks really suited to the Menangle style of racing. You just mentioned that. Have you had to alter your training techniques at all since arriving in Sydney? Are you doing things differently than what you did at home?
No, not really. We keep things the same. I think we've had a lot of success at Menangle even when we've come up in the past. We've won a lot of nice races, and we've won a Len Smith Mile and a APG final up here, and we've always had a lot of success. So I think the horses have always raced well here. You always bring the right ones when you travel away, but now we're sort of based here with a big team, and they base at the Menangle Training Centre too. They get to train on the racetrack, so they probably. That's probably an asset. They get used to the surroundings and they race well on it. So, training technique wise, things are basically the same as what we did.
You Betcha Tiger Pie took on Kingman and Co. Must have been happy with that run.
Look, he's been racing fantastic. He hasn't won for 5 or 6 starts, but he keeps running good sectionals home. He probably lacks that little bit of gate speed to get into a handy spot, and he just didn't get towed right to the lane again last night. But he's always brave. He tries hard. He's got a good turn of foot. So he'll pick up another win soon. But he's been ultra consistent since he's been here, and just keeps earning a check. He's just a great little racehorse.
Mate, closing in on 1,000 driving winners in your career, I notice. I think you've only got 20 or so until you get the milestone. Is that something you've got your eye on at the moment?
No, like milestones are always great. They're not something that I strive for. It's sort of I sort of just basically sort of plan the business model around targeting the bigger races and trying to win the Group 1s. But obviously ticking off milestones along the way, will be a great achievement. Not really counting it down, but when it happens, it'll be a great achievement.
Mate, you mentioned Rob Watson earlier in the interview. It was great to see him win the Eureka with his slot. I know he has been one of your biggest supporters for years and years and years. How did that connection with Rob all start?
It was an interesting one. I just when I lost my junior claim, when I was a young fella, I struggled to get drives. I moved away playing footy and gave the racing away for a little bit. And then when I got back into it, just a really good friend of mine that I went to school with, Adam Wilkinson, who him and his dad own a lot of great horses over the time, said, I think you need to put yourself out there. And, he sort of drew up an email and sent it to 5 or 6 of the biggest owners that had horses in multiple stables. And Rob Watson was the only one that actually responded to the email. And he said, yeah, I'm going to send you a couple of horses just because you've put yourself out there, a young fella having a go. And, ever since then, the relationship's just got bigger and better. And, we've now we're, great mates. We're not just trainer and owner. We've become great mates, and it's been a great relationship. So hopefully that can continue for many more years to come.
Young blokes, mate, I praise you for that. Young blokes, sometimes they've got to get out of their comfort zone and put themselves out there, because sometimes it's just the break you need. And by the sounds of it, it's the one that's opened up a lot of doors for you.
Yeah, it sure has. And, I've got to thank Adam for that. He's the one that sort of pushed me to do that with his business mind. But, yeah, it's a tough industry, because it's an industry where, people can stay at the top for so long and people get set in their ways and stick with the same trainers, because, they can, a lot of our top trainers can still train till they're 70, can't they? So people, it's a hard industry to break into. So, it worked for us on that occasion, and thankfully we're able to capitalise on it.
Well, mate, congratulations with the double. Team's firing at the moment. 1,000 winners driving just around the corner. Kids are coming up as well, mate. The world's perfect. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch up with you again soon.
Beauty. Thanks, Hazy.
Ark Sea, Rickson swings it off the back of it, 29 3 the quarter. They're really struggling to keep up with her now. She just given a little bit more rain, and it leads the way by 7 metres on California Princess. They've got 10 on Rocky Wideman as they're about to swing in, 200 metres left to go, and the rest of the field screams, stop the fight, this is getting brutal. Ark Sea roars right away at the 100. She is going to be, I think, the grand final winner of this division, and Ark Sea has destroyed them.
Well, Sam Hewitt brought up a career milestone on Wednesday at Bathurst when he picked up a winning double. In the process, he also recorded the 100th winner as a trainer in his career. Sam is starting to put together a pretty handy team around himself and looks to have some serious chances coming up in the Breeders' Challenge. And Sam is joining me on the podcast. Thanks for your time, mate.
How you going, Hazy?
Really well. 100 winners in the career. Nice one for you to tick off.
Yeah, I just been around the 90s for a while, but yeah, I don't really race a heap of horses, but nice to have a few handy ones about at the moment.
Yeah, you don't have a huge number of starters each year. In fact, I think this year you've only had 15 or so, but 9 of those 15 have been winners, so it's been a great year for you, 2025.
Yeah, we haven't had many starters at all, but just all the 2-year-olds, and I think one of the 3-year-olds, she's handy as well. But yeah, just all the ones we've raced so far, they all show nice ability.
What else are you doing away from the training to keep yourself busy?
Always just breaking in a fair few horses for some of them bigger stables, but just a few of them this year. Like they've stayed along, and it's nice just to keep a bit of the quality rather than seeing them leave the gate.
We saw Ricky Alchin start out as a breaker and then obviously progressed to more of a trainer than a breaker. Is that something that you'd like to go down the path of, or are you very happy doing what you're doing, breaking the young ones in?
I've always enjoyed it, but now that a few of these better ones have come along, I think I'd be more keen to race a few more, especially when the kids get a little bit older. If any of them want to come follow me and help me do it, I'd be more keen to race more. But while they've been little, it's been good not to have to be away from home too much. as well.
Yeah, and another generation of Hewitts going around. It's something to look forward to, mate. There's plenty of you. Ark Sea, Will Rickson has been talking so highly of her, and she made it 3 from 4 the other night when she won by a cricket pitch at Bathurst. BK in the call's got her winning the final already. You must be pretty excited with her.
Yeah, she's. I couldn't wait to get her back into work after she had the Queensland stint, and I was just happy to see her come out and perform well, and especially after I think 2 days prior the fillies ran 51 at Menangle, so she's going to have to be at the top of the game to come up against some of them.
What's the story with her? You've had her all the way through. You broke her in.
Carl Ryman, the owner, he didn't really want to breed anymore, and I asked whether he would be able to borrow the mare and just try, and then she went in foal, but I think the mare had laminitis all the way through her pregnancy and wasn't sure whether she was going to make it, but then she had Ark Sea, and she had a few complications herself with bad legs and whatnot, but we broke her in, and she got hurt but like 3 or 4 times, and she's been a bit of a problematic horse, but now that she started racing, everything's just going sweetly, and she just keeps improving all the time.
So did the mare survive?
Yeah, she survived, and she's had another foal since, and she's in foal again, so she's looks like she's right now.
Okay. Ark Sea gave you a huge thrill in the Protestar, finished second, earned connections, a really big payday. That must have been a pretty special night for you. I believe that she was going to be good enough to take on the boys, and I wasn't really worried that way, but just when we got the draw, and just it didn't look good, but just a gate speed got across them, and I thought as soon as she got to the fence, I thought we'd run in the top 3, and then we celebrated like we'd won, but we all enjoyed it. Since then, has the aim just been the Breeders' Challenge?
Yeah, that's all she's got left is just the challenge, and then she'll be able to have a good spell after that for a few months, and then just get ready for some of them better 3-year-old races next year.
Okay. Will you do much with her between her heat and the semis, or is that it for her?
She only had 1 trial before her heat at Bathurst, so I'm pretty keen. I think I might trial her on the 1st, next Wednesday week at Menangle. She's never seen Menangle before, and she definitely needs another run just to get her a bit fitter, and then 10 days later she'll have the semis, then hopefully a fortnight after that the final, all going well.
Mate, Where's Wally's another one that's only lightly raced and just keeps on winning, and another nice one to have in the stable.
Yeah, he's another one that's he's well bred, and always showed good ability, and I actually thought he was the best of them a few months ago before they started racing, but he just keeps stepping up to the mark and doing whatever I've asked him, and hopefully he can step up again to take on some of the better colts.
Yeah, including the brothers horse who looks like he's got a nice one. Just back to Where's Wally? Like another one of these ones that you broke in and that the owners left him with you. Is that what happened?
Yeah, his owner Finn Doyle. I had a little connection with him back when Dad trained a couple for him, and he just rang one day and mentioned if I'd break him in. I wasn't sure whether I'd race him or not, but he just kept doing prep after prep with him, and he stayed, and couldn't have started off any better for Finn.
So, you look at Hollywood Strip. Do you think about that? The taking on your big brother in maybe a Group 1 final? Yeah,
he always looked pretty nice, but he's obviously the benchmark. He's going to be terribly hard to beat, but anything can happen in these 2-year-old races. So we've just got to get there in the best shape we can and hope for a nice draw. And
my fella's Menas are terrific, and he's just a good little racehorse. So hopefully, even if he can get into the final, and I'd be quite happy with that.
Mate, you've only had 5 or 6 drives for the year. What's the story behind that? Decided to give others a go, or have you just wanted to take the pressure off and watch from the grandstand?
I think Ark Sea was the first one I raced for the year, I think, and I think Brad drove her on that occasion, and she just went really good, and I'm not sure. I think Will drove her a second start, then I thought he may as well drive her in the big one. Then I've just been having a bit of luck, just trying to get him to the races in best condition I can, and I think I'm having a couple of drives on tomorrow night at Canberra that stars, but I've just always particularly this year, just put the pressure on the other boys, and it seems to be working.
How many are you training?
We've always got about 15 or 16 there.
Okay. Great to catch up with you, mate. You're doing a really good job at the moment, and good luck with those big juvenile races coming up.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thanks, Hazy.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
That I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. A winner. Just like that.
I'm the winner is...
Well, Mr. T struck out with both of his, but so did I. So we are both minus 20 after the first week. All right, he's going to Bathurst on Wednesday. That's no surprise. Going for a couple of Sydney-trained horses. That is a surprise. Race 5, number 3, Forceful, for Ricky Alchin and Ash Delosa. Going all the way out to Bathurst, chasing the money on offer out there. Midfield last time out at Goulburn, but the last win was only a few runs ago at Newcastle. Mr. T is expecting a bounce back with Forceful. Stick with it. So that's race 5, number 3. And then he goes race 9, number 7, Rumour Stride. That's another one for Ricky Alchin. Ran second on debut. Didn't get everything made to water on that occasion. With the run under the belt and the benefit of the experience, Mr. T thinks despite the wide draw, it's the way to go. So race 9, number 7, Rumour Stride. A couple of winners for Ricky Alchin, Mr. T says. My 2, I'm going to go to Menangle Monday, and I'm going to go with 2 shorties and just get myself on the board in spring. Menangle Monday, race 4, number 2, Gunner Reload. It's going to be short, but looks hard to beat. Hasn't been seen at the races since finishing outside of the placings in the Queensland Oaks. Went to the trials at Penrith, and Helliver ran the hands off the clock in that trial. It went 1:52 for the mile at Penrith. Now, Gunner Reload was beaten a long way, but I think after a while they would have just said, no, we're not even, we'll just have our own little race here and we'll let Helliver go off on its own. Gunner Reload finished second, and that should have her nice and fit for Monday. So that's race 4, number 2, Gunner Reload. And go to race 7, number 7, Mac Bond, Luke McCarthy. Another of the Breeders' Challenge heats. Looks to be extremely hard to beat, even despite the wide draw. I think he can go forward, do his fair share of work in this company. 2 shorties, but both look pretty hard to toss. Race 4, number 2, Gunner Reload. Race 7, number 7, Mac Bond. Now, that just about wraps up the podcast for another week. Thanks to the guests, Cam Hart, Sam Hewitt, Mick Stanley, 3 guests this week. Great to speak with all of the boys. Hope you have a great week wherever you are, whatever you're planning. And I'll catch you next Sunday for another edition of the Sunday Session. It is bye for now.